The 843rd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a free Refs or Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your free shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs.
Hi-ho, DeGenerinos. Welcome to episode 843 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Number, dedicated to one of our friends in the old YouTube, Skylar Krize, who says Gumby is low-key one of the best at this. IMO, in my opinion. It is true. Gumby is very good at what he does.
Low-key.
Yeah, he's low-key. I think I am even more low-key. I would be Kaiser Del Busto, Jeff Fox. No one ever asked for my opinion, but you should check out how good I am at UFC. But nonetheless, this is Gumby's turn to shine because we're covering Octagon. Gumby's just saying off air, Octagon has become one of his go-to promotions, the one that he knows the most of outside of the UFC. He doesn't even really have to do much homework anymore because he knows all these fighters so well. And this is a big event with a lot of familiar names on it. We're covering about Octagon 72, which is going down this weekend. Would have been even it is a stadium event in Prague, outdoor Fortuna Arena. It holds 19,000 people. It would have been even bigger. A couple of big fights fell off. It's still a very big event, and Gumby says they are changing things up to make it even bigger, right?
Yeah, they got I recently saw a piece on theirs that they changed the way they're going to walk out so that it almost like snakes around the arena, so that they'll have to walk past more people and have more intricate and interesting walkouts, which you got to give it to them. They don't shy away from wildly vulgar nicknames or crazy walkouts. So like, yeah, they're at least having fun with it, right?
They're the anti-UFC. UFC, everything has to be the same, and everyone has to look the same, and nothing fun. But yeah, these promotions, it's the way it should be, the way MMA used to be. Pretty crazy, and there's no heavyweights that are going to gas out on the long walk, so I guess it'll be okay.
Yeah,
making people walk even farther. But yeah, we lost Lucy Pudilova was supposed to fight against Lucia Zabolova and Karim what's his name again? Enjek versus Nick Stanton. Was that a title bout?
No, because Enjek's in the Tipsport Game Changer. So that was
right.
Tipsport Game Changer tournament bouts, which I'm assuming they'll just have to reschedule a month or so later. Because to my knowledge, they're not using an alt for Enjek, who's the one who dropped out of the fight. Yeah. So I don't think they're using an alt. So that must mean they're able to reschedule it like a month later.
So we lost those two fights, but we still have two title fights on the card and a lot of names.
And another Tipsport Game Changer fight too.
Oh, that's right. One of them is there.
Wawrzyniak versus Peňáz is
right.
Tipsport fight. Yeah.
Yep. Topology is not up on that, but yeah, should be a big event. Tell a friend to watch Octagon. We love Octagon around these parts. Fun events, and Gumby's pretty good at making picks on it. So we're going to dive into that after I remind you that you can get all your free picks and podcasts for the Stanley Cup, College Baseball, World Series, and NBA Finals on the SGPN app. Get it wherever you get your apps. And you get free Octagon picks there as well, because that's what we're covering today. All right, let's get her going. A reminder, Gumby is up 20 units on non-UFC MMA this year. So he is cooking once again. All right. And if you did what my brother told you to do, Gumby, you'd be up $20,000 right now. So hopefully you followed his advice. Octagon 72, Vémola versus Végh 3. Yes, this is a trilogy fight. Prague, Czech Republic, this Saturday, noon Eastern on Octagon pay-per-view. How much American do one of their pay-per-views run the people normally?
I want to say I want to say it's like $12 or $13 if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely worth your money for sure.
I think it's €10 if that helps.
Okay. Yep. Definitely worth it because, like we said, they're fun events, and Gumby's going to win you more than €10 on this for sure. All right, we're starting off with the prelim belt. Ivan Buchinger. He is from, I believe, Czech Republic or the Slovak Republic, or just Slovakia. They change their names too often. I think is it Slovakia now, or is it the Slovak Republic? I mean, you know off the top of your head.
Slovakia. Yeah.
Yes, Slovakia. He's from Slovakia. We've talked about him before. He has fought many, many times. He is fighting Vladimír Lengál. He is not from the Slovak Republic. He is from Czech Republic. Excuse me. 3 5-minute rounds. They are fighting at 155. We do have odds, and you've seen them, Gumby?
Yes, I've seen them.
Okay, so we will not be playing guess the odds. Lengál is who we're talking about first. Vlado is the nickname. 8-5 with 8 knockouts. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 4-5 in Octagon. Win-loss win over his last 3. 2-3 over his last 5. TKO win in his last bout. Used to fight at 145. 1-1 in pro kickboxing. 1-2 in pro Muay Thai. 3 years starting than Buchinger plus 175. Buchinger, Bookie, you can call him. He's 44-10. 12 knockouts, 25 submissions. He's been knocked out 7 times. 6-3 in Octagon. He's the former featherweight and lightweight champion, and he's on the prelims. So it shows you how big of an event we got here. He's won 3 of 4, 5 of 8, 7 of 11. So he's cruising right along, heading into fight 55 professionally. TKO win in his last bout. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Not surprisingly, right? Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. He's also a former Cage Warriors champion. That is part of the regional belts. His mantle is overflowing. I used that at 145, 2008 pro MMA debut, minus 225.
I think he lost his lightweight title in Cage Warriors to Conor McGregor, if I'm not mistaken.
I think we did mention that last time.
Yeah, I think he fought Conor. And so I'm going to go Buchinger here. I think, look, the miles on the tank are real, right? Like, obviously something you have to worry about. But he's got some things that work for him. And it's primarily, like, I love his power. I love where he swings from to start. I like his pressure. I like his ability to wrestle when he needs an out. And, like, all of those things, despite him getting a touch slower and having been knocked out a billion times in his career, like, all of those things seem to have stayed around for him. And when you watch Lengál, like, he just gets too excited in there, I think. He like comes from, I want to say he comes from a kickboxing background, but he starts in a very like look, he's ready to throw. He looks like he's in good shape. He looks like he's going to put together combinations. And then like he lands one thing and it's like everything goes out the window. And he starts winging shots from everywhere. And when you're fighting a guy like Buchinger who can counter those and hurt you or catch you off guard and get a takedown when, you're swinging, a little bit more than you ought to. I really think that that's probably going to be the end for Lengál. I just think, I don't think Lengál can make that mistake too many times. I think when he makes that mistake one time, Buchinger's going to punish him for it. And then the other thing too is that like Lengál, despite, like I said, I think he comes from a kickboxing background, or at least it would seem that way. He does seem to want to wrestle once in a while, want to just like mix it up and keep people guessing. And I think it's really helped him in the past that it makes other people afraid that he's going to take them down. Lets him throw a little bit more wildly, and the person's a little bit more defensive and a little bit less like ready to counter him. I don't think Buchinger is ever going to be worried that Lengál is going to take him down. I think he knows that he might try it, and I think he's confident in himself that he won't. So I don't think it's going to keep him from throwing as much as he does anyway. So give me Ivan Buchinger. I think he's the right play here.
If you paid attention to when I talk, you would know that Lengál is from a kickboxing background, kickboxing and Muay Thai professionally.
Yeah, okay, cool.
There you go.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he came from a kickboxing background.
That's true.
Just because he fought those. I mean, like, people fight all kinds of things that they probably shouldn't.
Yes, but you also you don't listen to me. Also, just
I don't. No, we don't listen.
Perfect. We don't listen. To
everybody
each other.
Should know that unless we're bantering about nicknames, we don't actually hear each other.
No, it's true. All right. Let's get to some more fun names. Right, Bojan Veličković. Veličković.
He was a UFC fighter. You don't remember Bojan Veličković?
Doesn't mean I can't butcher his name. I'm as bad as Joe Rogan, I was told by a certain gentleman that I just dedicated an episode to. He's like, this Joe Rogan's butchering names as bad as Jeff is. Yeah, thanks a lot. Last episode you get. He's Serbian steel, Bojan Veličković. Ronald Paradeiser, we've talked about him plenty of times. He's from the Slovak Republic. See, I told you, this is a big event. A lot of names, even a quote-unquote casual like myself know. All right, these guys are fighting at welterweight, 170 that would be. And I will tell you about, I think, Paradeiser first, right? This one's pretty much a pick'em, which is fun to see. I will tell you about Paradeiser first. Ronnie, you can call him if you're his friend. 21-9. 12 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 5 times. 15-5 in Octagon. He's another former 155 champion. He's won 8 of 9, got TKO'd in his last bout. He's fought at 155 and 185. 2014 pro MMA debut. 9 years younger than Veličković. 2 inches taller. Veličković. 2 inches taller, minus 110. Veličković is Serbian steel. That's much easier to say and funner. He's 25, 12, and 2. 8 knockouts, 11 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. He's durable. 7-2 in Octagon. He's won 4 straight, 2 straight via finish. He's not fought, though, since December 2023. He's not lost since October 2022. Multi-region championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our merch at sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. He went 0-1 the Ultimate Fighter. He's fought at 185, 2010 Pro MMA debut, minus 115.
I'm going to go Ronnie Paradeiser. Because I'm an unabashed Ronnie Paradeiser fan. I've loved all of his fights. He's super exciting to watch. I thought he was going to win the Tip Sport Game Changer at 55, and he didn't. Veličković actually won at 70. I don't know if you remember that last fight he had. The last fight that he had, you said he hasn't fought in a year and a half.
Right,
It was
yeah.
December of 2023 is when he fought Andreas Mikulaitis in the finals of the first Tip Sport Game Changer. So, like, he fought and won the first Tip Sport Game Changer. Big old payout. Didn't fight for a year and a half after that. And who knows, there might be injuries or, hey, maybe he's just happy with the money he got. That layoff worries me, though, because he's kind of a guy who starts slow anyway. If you want to even just go back to that fight with Mikulaitis, but you could actually go to all of his UFC fights too. He just he has a little bit of trouble finding range early. He looks a little tentative. He gets backed up a lot early. And it gives his opponents an opportunity to get started doing what they want. I mean, we saw Mikulaitis take him down, have some control time there too, where he was just trying to bank some rounds. And obviously it worked out for Veličković, who was able to take back over that fight and wound up winning the big sum of money. But against Ronald Paradeiser, that's not a guy who you want to spend time figuring out, because Ronnie he's a sharpshooter. I love the way, and not only is he a sharpshooter, when he hurts you, he does not let you off the hook. And I don't mean that in a way where he swarms you and throws 400 punches, but he just cuts the angles so well and makes you fight in a phone booth with him while you're woozing. So if Veličković can't find his range and he can't find his or his takedowns, even, he's got decent jiu-jitsu, worth noting. But if he can't find that early, especially because of the layoff or because he's a slow starter or a combination of the two, Paradeiser is going to find success early in this fight. And I'm not sure that means that Veličković will ever get back into it. I will caveat saying I'm a touch worried about the size here. I know Paradeiser really struggled to make 55, which is why he's up at 70 now. And so he was a bigger 55er, but it's his first shot coming up to 170. You have to worry a little bit about how that's going to look. But at the same time, I trust it enough. I'm going to go Ronald Paradeiser. I think the start is going to be really important for him.
Veličković was 2-3-1 in the UFC, which I forgot to mention, but that doesn't change the handicap. But anyhow, Paradeiser is the pick here. All right, before we dive into more winning Octagon plays, let me tell you about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, and 100% approval for all betting deposits. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet with our promo code SGPN. And it's last week to sign up and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Go to sportsgamblingpockets.com/refs, REFS, to claim your free shirt. And Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway is on as we speak. Circa Resort and Casino Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. You'll get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. Plus, you can always get 15% off at all the Circa properties with promo code SGP15. Enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football contest for free at sportsgamblingpockets.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpockets.com/CIRCA. And we're moving on. Tip Sport Game Changer middleweight belt. That's the tournament they are doing currently. Matěj Peňáz. He is from, seems like a Polish name, but he's not. He's from the Czech Republic. He is up against Piotr Wawrzyniak. He is Polish because I kind of butchered his name. 3-5
You did pretty good. You did pretty good. I want to give you your flowers on that.
I've only said his name how many times? A bunch of times.
At least 100, yeah.
You can call him Patrik if you like. Patrek. He's 14-6 with 9 knockouts. He's been submitted 3 times. 3-1 in Octagon and the former champion. I told you, this card is packed. He's won 2 straight and 7 of 8. TKO win in his last bout. He is a regional champ. Used fight at 170, 2011 pro MMA debut, plus 185. Money Peñáz is 10-1 with 9 knockouts. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds. 10-0 in Octagon. He's won 4 straight fights, all via TKO. He's not lost since August 2022. That was on the Contender Series. Who did he lose to, Gumby? His only loss of his career.
Cedric Dumas.
Yep. Didn't age well. Yes, Cedric Dumas.
And all he did was he shot a takedown. He's got like 99-inch reach, and he for some reason shot a takedown in that fight.
Yep, he does have insane reach. You'll hear about that in 1 second.
He looks like a praying mantis.
He used to fight at 205, 5-2 as a pro kickboxer, 3-0 in Muay Thai and a champion there. 5 years younger than Wawrzyniak, 5 inches taller, 12 inches of reach advantage on him. I think he has an 81-inch reach or something. I'm going to look it up because it's insane. Because he is, come on, Topology. Give me the Money Peñáz stuff. He is 6'4", but he's got almost a 7-foot reach. He's got a 6'11" reach. So should be in the NBA. He's minus 250.
It's one of those guys who you're like, it looks like he's made with AI, because you're like, nobody's got arms that look like that. I really hate that they made this fight. I want to start by saying that because we're in the quarterfinals of the Tip Sport Game Changer. And I don't know if you remember when we were breaking down the Tip Sport Game Changer to start, I said NGX should be the favorite to win. And you were like, well, okay, well, if the middleweight champion doesn't win the middleweight tournament, who would you pick? I said either Wawrzyniak or Peñáz. They are the next 2 best guys right here, and one of them's gonna eliminate each other. I'm gonna go underdog though. I think I'm gonna take Wawrzyniak. I really enjoy watching Peñáz. I mean, his striking and his range and just how crafty he can be with those praying mantis arms is like really fun to watch. But at the same time, like, I've seen people crowd him and like sort of put him back against the cage with just like pressure. And that's the thing where Wawrzyniak does really well. Now, I don't know if he can do it for 15 minutes well, because he does seem to tire himself out quite a bit. But I think like early enough in the fight, I think he can crowd Peñáz, possibly hit some takedowns, get some ground and pound going, and if not, just like beat him up in the clinch. Because I think that's his path to victory here. And Peñáz is pretty good at fighting out of those situations. I went back and watched this fight with Ole Magnor, who's like 8-8, but he's like secretly one of my favorite guys to watch. He's a Norwegian dude. If you've never seen him fight, highly suggest an Ole Magnor fight. But Magnor just like got in his face like for like 40 seconds until he got knocked out. And so it was like a 40-second knockout win for Peñáz. But like watching it made me see that like if you get in Peñáz's face and make him uncomfortable, he panics a little bit. And granted, it worked in this case because the guy he was fighting is like a journeyman from Norway who's pretty much only good at grappling. But like you mentioned, Wawrzyniak's got a ton of knockouts. He's beaten up a lot of people both on the feet and on the mat. His last fight was a testament to how dangerous he is for every single minute of the fight. And so, I think if Wawrzyniak crowds him and gets in his face and moves forward, he's worth a play at 185. But he's got to come with that game plan here.
All right. You got it. We're locking him in. Wawrzyniak as a dog here. We're sticking with middleweights. This is for the interim middleweight championship. Gumby, why is it an interim fight?
Because NGX in the Tip Sport Game Changer.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you guys are just keeping it warm. Makhmud Muradov versus Patrik Kincl Muradov from the Muradov Professional Fight League. He is from Uzbekistan.
Remember when we broke down Muradov Professional Fight League?
They were dark days back then.
No, it wasn't Fight League. It was Muradov Professional League.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There was no fight in there.
All right, and Kincl, Czech Republic. They were the good old days, the Muradov days. All right, we'll tell you about the Inspector first. Inspector Kincl is 28-11 with 1 no contest, 13 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted twice, 4-1 in Octagon, and a former champion, as pretty much everyone on this card is. He's won 4 of 5 and 9 of 11. He did lose his last bout. Used to fight at 170, 2007 pro MMA debut. 1-0 in cage boxing, plus 185. Mock, you can call Muradov or Ahmed Vert, obviously. Those in the know that. 28-8 with 1 no contest, 18 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 4 times. 4-0 in Octagon. He's won 2 straight and gone 3-0 with 1 no contest over his last 4. TKO win in his last bout. He's not lost a fight since October 2022. He went 4-2 with 1-0 contest in the UFC. He also has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our gear, get our merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Get sticky with it. 2012 Pro MMA debut. He also has cage boxed, and he's 1-0 in cage boxing. 3 inches of height, 4 inches of reach over Kincl, minus 225.
I'm gonna go Kincl. Yeah, I'm kind of. I thought more and more about it because, like, at first I was like, "Oh yeah, Muradov's gonna win this," and then the more and more I thought about, like, Kincl's got to win over Vémola, who we're going to talk about in a second. Kincl's got to win over Wawrzyniak, and largely in those fights, he had to survive some bad positions, and he came back to win because he's really dangerous on the feet. In fact, I think he's much more dangerous on the feet than Muradov. You know, like, I know Muradov's gotten like a couple of knockouts in Octagon, but like in the UFC, like, we just thought of him as a guy who like kind of wrestles, and when he couldn't wrestle, he kind of sucks, right? You know, like Gerald Mearshart subbed him, and like Kincl to me has dealt with guys who grapple better than Muradov, and he's done really well. Like, he even took Enziak down when they fought, and that's his last loss, right? Kincl was the champ, and he lost to Enziak and gave up the belt there. So, like, you know, he's getting a shot at his belt back against a guy who's, you know, taking a sabbatical from the Octagon to go fight in the UFC. And I think Kincl is just like, I mean, first of all, I think he's dangerous with the hands. Second of all, I think, you know, like, he's shown that when things get kind of rough, he's just as good late in the fight. And he's shown like some pretty good grappling chops too. I want to say sub Wawrzyniak. So, yeah, I'm going to go Patrick Kincl. I'm going to take a shot on the inspector here.
All right. Back-to-back 185 dogs at 185. How fitting is that? All right. Before we get to our main event, let me tell you about Rhythm, RITHMM. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. For example, a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app. Check out the Power Trends and start betting smarter. You know, we will be. Gumby says he got outsmarted by, actually, no, you thought you were smarter than Rhythm, and you were not.
I was not. They outsmarted me.
Yeah. So check out all the Power Trends and all the stuff there. And you can do it for free. 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm, RITHMM. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet in every sport, including the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. They have odds. They tend to have odds for all the big regional cards that we do cover. So make sure you check that out as well. And when you do head to mybookie.ag, use our promo code MMA SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, to the main event is for the Infinity Championship. Gumby, what does this mean?
It's an invented title for the trilogy fight between Karlos, Vémola, and Attila Végh.
It's like the BMF, but for
I think it's more legit than that.
It looks kind of cool. The Infinity sign is on the belt. So are they going to defend the Infinity?
I don't know. No. I mean, like, I think this is the last fight for both of these guys.
Okay.
So I think this is like, for Infinity, they are going to be the winner of this trilogy, which will never happen. I mean, Attila Végh, I'm already like scooting into your breakdown here.
That's fine.
Attila Végh has already been retired, right? Like, he was retired for like 4 years. He came back to fight Vémola. Vémola torched him, and they were like, "Oh, well, now we got to do the trilogy."
Yep. In a big stadium for the Infinity Championship, Czech Republic versus Slovak Republic. Karlos Vémola versus Attila Végh. 5-minute rounds, so it's a legit title fight. Let's break it down. Telling about Végh first. Pumukli is the nickname. I think that's some kind of cartoon dude or something. 33-10-2 is the record. 11 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted twice. 4-2 in Octagon, and of course, he is a former champion. He's lost over his last 3, 4-2 over his last 6. Got submitted in his last bout in June 2024. He won his last bout in November 2019. Both those bouts were against Karlos Vémola. He went 5-1 in Bellator and was the former champion there. He was fed at 185, 2008 Pro MMA debut, 2 inches taller than Vémola, plus 115. Vémola is the Terminator, 37-9, 9 knockouts, 20 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times. 12-4 in Octagon. Used to be the 185 and the 205 champion. Loss over his last 3, 3-3 over his last 6. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our gear at sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Went 2-4 in the UFC. Used to fight at 185 and heavyweight. 2008 pro MMA debut. 2 inches reach over Végh. -150 for the trilogy.
I was at one of his fights in the UFC.
You're old, that means.
Yeah, he beat Mike Masenzo. Do you remember Mike Masenzo?
I remember the name.
It was at UFC in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and it was headlined by Nate Diaz versus Jim Miller.
Nice.
Yeah, fun little card there. So, the pick here is Vémola. I can't believe the line isn't much bigger. You said -150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe he's not a 2-1 or 3-1 favorite here. This is like probably the best spot on the whole card for me. The reason is Attila Végh has been retired. And then after coming back from being retired, he like basically was re-retired by an arm triangle choke from Karlos Vémola. And they're like, what if we do it again? Like, what if we let him fight him again? And like, maybe Vémola's line got brought down by the fact he's coming off a loss. But that was an absolute knock him down, drag him out war with Will Fleury. Like, Will Fleury threw the kitchen sink at this guy, and he just kept coming forward. And he even had some big moments after being knocked silly by Will Fleury. And like, Will Fleury's face was all jacked up afterwards. Like, Karlos Vémola brought it in that fight. And if that's the reason why his odds went down, I think bookmakers are crazy. Because to me, that was just like, beating Will Fleury is not easy to do for anybody. And like, Vémola win as close to doing it as you can, or at least out of anybody in Octagon so far. So, Vémola, I wouldn't be surprised if he arm triangled him again. Wouldn't be surprised if he knocked him out on the feet. You got a guy who seems like he's still in, maybe not his prime, but still close enough to his athletic prime, and another guy who sort of had both feet out the door. So, I'm going to take Karlos Vémola here.
All right, get on that line, people. Steam it up. Gummy says it's a good line. All right, recap. He's got Vémola. He has got Kincl. He has got Wawrzyniak. He has got Paradeiser. He has got Buchinger. He also has some later round plays. Zap, bang, boom, pow.
Yeah, I wrote down a lot of them here. The first one I'm going to take, the Neanderthal, Frederick Volsgruen. I didn't look at what the line was on him, but I bet you it's -8,000 or something like that. But my God, he's just so fun to watch. Wildly one-dimensional grappler, but like, he looks like a Neanderthal, which is fun. And then his submission win in his last fight was fun. I think they're going to set him up with a guy he can submit. So I'll take him. I'll take Jakub Botfalski. Shout out to Goofier Deer, who has already hit me up and asked me if I was into Botfalski. Here's your official pick. Yes, I'm into Botfalski. It's fought Carol Rai Savvy, who always kind of underwhelms me. And then I'm also going to take JB Cordero. He's fighting Hossack. And Cordero always has just kind of surprised me with you start to think of his striking as being good, and he's like, hey, here's some grappling. You start to think of his grappling being good, and he's like, hey, here's some striking. So he's like fun in the way that he mixes up. So my 3 bonus plays, Frederick Volsgruen, JB Cordero, and Jakub Botfalski. You got the odds on all 3 of those?
Yeah, Botfalski +150.
Nice, love that.
Nice. The other one was Cordero -450.
Okay, that's maybe less good. Yeah.
And then Frederick Volsgruen -350.
Oh, only 3? Yeah, okay, definitely in on Volsgruen then.
Okay, good. There you go. You are set for Octagon. When you're watching it or any other time, hit us up in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can hit us up the old YouTube in the comments, MMA Gambling Podcast. Subscribe. Thank you very much. SGPN MMA on Twitter. He's at Gummy Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. At Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram as well. Check out my Substack. Enter my free UFC Pick'em contest for this weekend's event at moneymma.substack.com. Listen to Gummy's other podcast, Top Turtle MMA. He will have some future contender series participants on it this week, so make sure you check that out. And of course, you can check all of our stuff out at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store to get the merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. And we're out of here until tomorrow. Gumby.
I'm Dana Gumby Vreeland. He's the Neanderthal, Jeff Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.